Well then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 10 Minutes with Kuhle. Welcome to a new setup. I hope you enjoy this new setup. Look, the TV should be on, right? But our cameras have got a deep focus motion. So I've been setting up the makeshift studio, right? And then trying to switch on the TV. I've been trying to record the whole day. And somehow it just focuses here and not on this gorgeous face. So I said, let's switch it off till we figure out our technology with this. But we're here now. Ladies and gentlemen, nonetheless, I hope you guys have enjoyed your Sunday. It's Sunday. It's on Sunday. Put this video. Right. So, you saw the title of the video, obviously, where we are speaking about the projections and the targets that have been created based on, well, government's racist laws that they've set out, right? These are targets that I have done deep research on with my team through your guys' support, right? You guys don't know that the support that you actually give by buying coffee, by doing all sorts, actually goes a long way to the research that we do, believe it or not. So we've created futuristic targets to show government's policy and the projection of white poverty. So I don't want this to be the longest video on earth, right? Because I've obviously touched on the history of how we got to where we are through BE, through EEA, and through all those other racist, communistic garbage that the government has set out. So, you know what EEA is, especially the amendment that has come in on the 1st of January this year, which says if you run a business with over 50 employees, you've got to follow, right? You've got to hire XY that's amongst the black people in your company. Basically, we're no longer looking at skill, we're just looking at, oh, you've got people, oh, wonderful. Women, great. Tick, 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 tick. Leaving white people out of the economy. We can also just got a couple of notes here, which I always like to refer to so that I'm as accurate as possible with you guys. Which has to do with the one that I wanted to refer to yesterday, but I didn't refer to yesterday, which was, you're just going to have to hold for me a little bit. And there's the note, affirmative action in education, right? So university admissions often use race-based point system that disadvantage white applicants, especially at elite institutions like UCT, Witwatersrand, and Stellenbosch University. White students with top marks are usually rejected, while black applicants with lower scores are admitted because of the PDP system, which has previously disadvantaged persons, right? So that set aside, so I said that is the history of how we got here. Now, I want us to look forward beyond this disgusting history. Let us speak about the stats that we have been working on, and these stats will, I don't want to say excite you, but will make you feel a bit sad. Now, according to the stats that we've been working on here at 10 Minutes with Kuhle, and we're looking at the laws and the laws that are still to come, right, in South Africa and where white poverty is going to. So in 1994, we had about 5 million poor, with 5 million South Africans in South Africa. So 5 million white South Africans, pardon me, tongue twister, 5 million white South Africans in South Africa, with about 20,000 living below the poverty line, which meant about 0.4% of the population. Does not mean that those were all the poor people. That was just below the poverty line. 2011, 4.5 million South Africans remained in South Africa, meaning that 500,000 decrease in the population, right? And the number of white people living below the poverty line skyrocketed from 20,000 in 1994 to 230,000 people in 2011, meaning that white population below the poverty line was sitting at 5%. In 2023, we have about 4.3 million white South Africans remaining, 200,000 decrease from 4.5 million. And the white poverty line again increased. In fact, it doubled itself this time from 230,000 to 450,000 people, right? Remember, the population is decreasing, but white poverty is increasing. Meaning white population in poverty and below the poverty line, I need to highlight below the poverty line, was sitting at about 10.5%. In 2025, being this year, with the GNU and all that rubbish, white population sitting at about estimated 4.2 million South Africans, with about 500,000 plus white South Africans living below the poverty line with which means the ratio is sitting at about 12% to 13%, right? That's the estimate. The sources come from Stats SA. Some of the sources come from Solidarity, and some of the stuff was our own research, that we did here at 10 minutes with Kuhle. Now, white poverty by population, if you'd like that number, the number is sitting at about, not the white poverty by location, not by population. I'm so sorry. By location, you will find the vast majority live in Gauteng, Free State, Northern Cape, and Western Cape. Now, there's obviously been a sporadic growth of white informal settlements, mainly in places like the Northern Cape, mainly in places like the Northern Cape and Gauteng. White informal settlements account for about 120 informal settlements in Gauteng alone. Mind you, Joburg only has about 300 informal settlements, which tells you the maths, which tells you that white informal settlements make up a huge number of informal settlements in Gauteng alone, right? A huge, huge percentage. So this lie that white people are poor is just hearing it from me. Now, here are the futuristic numbers. Oh, before I get to the futuristic numbers, let me give you the primary causes, right? This comes from exclusion from state social grants due to race-linked criteria. Most grants target historically disadvantaged groups, which in this case is referring to blacks. Laws such as BEE and EEA, based job reservation, cutting off employment and promotion paths, no land redistribution benefits access but risk of expropriation, high taxation combined with NHI rollout threatening middle-class stability, reduced access to university due to race-based admissions, collapse of trades and artisan sectors that once employed lower middle income whites, now just subject to racial targets. Now, these are the future projections that we have used, the future projections that we have calculated based on the government's laws. So we're calculating white poverty till the year 2030. If you want to, I won't publish the study yet, but I will just read through important numbers because we're still working on a couple of things. But if you want to know how we got here, we used a conservative exponential projection model, right? So our prediction was, let's say the white population remains the same at 4.1 million people, meaning people are giving birth, others are leaving, but somehow the numbers not really decreasing. It's just not growing. Which means that in the year 2025, we've got about 4.1 million white South Africans with estimated poverty at about 13% below the breadline for white South Africans, with 533,000 being the population. In 2026, the estimated white poverty below the breadline will be at 14.2%, with that number being 583,000. In 2027, it will be at 15.5%, with the number being 635,000 people. In 2028, it will be at 16.8%, with the number being 689,000. In 2029, it will be 18.2%, with the projected number being 746,000. In 2030, it will be at 19.7%, with the projected number being 807,000. Now, this is very important. These numbers are not just poor white people. This is below the poverty line, which means that almost 1 to 2, so almost 1 to 2 in 5 white South Africans could be below the poverty line come 2030, which means the projections for 2030, there will only be 5% of white South Africans that will be in the upper class, meaning these are the politically connected business owners, which have got access to international markets. The middle class will hover somewhere at about 35%, but it's shrinking rapidly due to tax burdens, job market barriers. Working class will be sitting at about 25 to 30%, mainly due to their lack of access to state contracts, job promotions, or affordable services, meaning that, you really don't grow in your career. You're just at a junior level right till you retire. Now, poverty-stricken whites will skyrocket to about 20 to 26%. That is our prediction. So it's going to sit somewhere within that range come 2030, meaning that these are people living below the breadline, living in informal camps, and are or dependent on charities, NGOs, or churches. So these numbers are grim. They're not good at all. What this means is the end of economic security for an ordinary white South African. Future generations will be born without wealth, without private education, or without health care. Those unable to immigrate or retrain in niche sectors like digital or international trade will be locked out of both the public and private economy. Most dangerously, racial resentment will increase, fueling further social unrest between poor blacks and poor whites over access to housing, land, jobs, and security or social security. In conclusion, in 1994, white poverty was rather minuscule. In 2025, it is a humanitarian crisis. By 2030, unless race-based exclusion laws are repealed or reformed, white poverty may reach parity with black urban poverty, minus any state support. So the numbers are grim. This is the ANC's way of making white people poor in order to achieve equality or supposed equality in South Africa, according to them. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the work that we've been doing at 10 Minutes with Kuhle. So sorry for sending this video out super late, but I hope you guys watch it and find it interesting. As well as, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to sign up for membership. It's as cheap as 20 Rand. It really helps in the work that we do and the research that we do here at 10 Minutes with Kuhle. As well as you can buy me a coffee. These are the results that your buy me a coffee brings, right? You can buy me a coffee by sending me a super chat. That's how you can buy me a coffee. As well as, if you can't support financially, you can always like, share, and subscribe, because we need to share this message as far and wide as possible. I will be sharing out this document in the days to come with very key people. Please do obviously enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll be leaving a video at the end of this video for you to watch and see what is happening in South Africa in terms of white poverty and the very grim state many white South Africans are living in. Thank you so much for watching 10 Minutes with Kuhle. Please do watch the video at the end.
Do you think you're equal to the black South Africans?
No, I don't think so.
In what way?
Plenty of ways though. Today you can have a matric certificate, you can have qualifications, all of that stuff you can, but if you're white, you don't get the job. But a black person, they don't have shit, like jack shit, but they get the job.
So being poor and white in South Africa has affected you because of the system and the government's in place now?
Yeah.
So do you think it was better prior to apartheid, before apartheid?
I wouldn't say that.
For you as a white person? Because you was privileged before and now you become underprivileged.
Yeah, I'd just say I'd like everybody just to be equal and treated fair, like.
But now you feel you're not treated fair by the government, is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that right saying that?
Yes. I mean, black, white, pink, yellow, what color ever you are, it doesn't matter. We are all made by God.
But you don't feel equal, is that
exactly, like, I don't know why they have this thing of blacks and whites, and it doesn't make sense.